Hey guys, welcome to Learn Today IGCSE. This video is a tutorial for Physics Paper 2 from February-March 2024 examinations. Question 1. A student has a measuring cylinder containing water and also has a balance. Which of these could she use to find the volume of a small metal sphere? She has no other apparatus. So to find the volume of a small metal sphere, the student can use the measuring cylinder that has water, drop the ball into the measuring cylinder and calculate the volume of water increased. Balance would be to measure the mass, and over here we are measuring the volume. So the apparatus that could be used is only the measuring cylinder containing water, so the answer is B. Next, question 2. The diagram shows a solid object on a flat surface with two forces acting on the object. What is the resultant force on the object? So on the right we have 4 and on the left we have 3. For take away 3, that would be 1 since this is the bigger number. The direction would be on the right at a magnitude of 1 Newton. So the answer is B. Question 3. A ball is falling towards the ground. Which transfer between energy stores is taking place? So when the ball is off the ground, it has gravitational potential energy. And as it is falling, it's moving, so it will convert into kinetic energy. So the answer is C. Question 4. Which row contains one scalar quantity and one vector quantity? Vector quantity has both magnitude and direction, whereas scalar quantity only have magnitude. So energy, mass, and distance are scalar quantity, whereas velocity and weight is a vector quantity. So the answer is A. Next, question 5. The table gives data about 4 liquids, W, X, Y, and Z. We are given with its mass and its volume. None of the liquid mixes with any of the other liquids. All the liquids are put in the same container and settle to form 4 separate layers. Which statement is correct? Okay, liquid Z has the highest mass, so it will go at the most bottom, and the volume given is 50, followed by liquid Y at 30 grams. And then we've got mass of 20, which is X, at 15 centimeter cube, so the amount here would be lesser. And the lightest mass, which is W, only has a volume of 10 centimeter cube, so it will be at the most top here because it is the lightest. Now let's check which statement is correct. And the answer would be D, as Z forms the layer below Y over here. Next, question 6. A weightless beam is balanced on a pivot as shown. Forces P, Q, and R act on the beam. Which equation is correct? Since the beam is balanced, this means that the clockwise moment is equal to the anti-clockwise moment. Let's look at the anti-clockwise movement. To calculate moment, we will take the force, which is R, and multiply with the perpendicular distance from pivot, which is A. That would be equal to the clockwise moment. Over here, we have got two forces, one acting downwards and one acting upwards. So for the force acting downwards, is going to be P multiplied with the distance from pivot, which is D. And we're going to minus, since it is at the opposite direction, so we will take away the force Q multiplied with the distance from pivot, which is B. So the equation which is correct would be D, as it is similar over here. Next, question 7. An object is moving at 3 meters per second and a force acts on the object. After a time, the object is moving at negative 4 meters per second. Velocity is a vector quantity, meaning that it has both magnitude and direction. So the negative value here is indicating that the direction has now changed to the opposite direction, meaning that the object is now moving like this. So the force acting on the object could probably be a wall, that's why the ball has bounced back. The mass of the object is 5 kilograms, and they're asking us to calculate the change in momentum of the body. The formula to calculate the change of momentum is mv minus mu. So let's just substitute the values into the formula. The mass of the ball is 5 kilograms. V here stands for the final velocity, which is 4 meters per second. But since it is moving in the opposite direction, do not forget to include the negative symbol. So that will be negative 4 minus the mass of the ball again, which is 5. And the initial velocity is positive, moving in this direction, so it will just be 3. Put all these values in your calculator and you get negative 35 kilogram meters per second. So the answer is A. Next, question 8. The diagram shows a column of liquid. The pressure due to the liquid at the bottom of the liquid is 6,000 newtons per meter square. So the pressure at the bottom is this. What is the density of the liquid? So this question is related to pressure in liquid. The formula of pressure in liquid is pressure equals to H rho G. And they're asking us to find the density. So rearranging this formula, we will get pressure over H times G. The pressure has already been given, which is 6,000 divided by the height, which is 50 centimeters. Now the unit of pressure given is Newton per meter square. So meaning that we have to convert centimeter to meter. To do this, we will just divide by 100, giving us 0.5, and the value of G is constant, which is 9.8. And you get a value of 1224.48 and so on. In two significant figures, the answer is 1200 kilograms per meter cube. Next, moving on to question 9. The questions from here onward are from chapter 2. Which statement correctly describes a change of state? A gas condenses to form a liquid. So the answer is A. Next, question 10. The diagram shows a pan used for cooking food. Which row is correct for the materials used to make the base of the pan and the handle of the pan? So we usually place the pan on top of your induction, where the heat radiates from here, going through the base of the pan and into the pan to heat up your food. This means that the base of the pan should be a good thermal conductor so that it can heat up the food. And the handle of the pan here is where you hold your pan and you don't want to get burned. Therefore, it should be a poor thermal conductor. So the answer is B. Next, question 11. Solar heating panel consists of pipes carrying water that absorb radiation from the sun. Which texture and color is the surface of the pipe so that the temperature of the water rises at the quickest rate? To answer this question, you must remember this table. So for the water to rise at the quickest rate, you're going to need a best absorber of heat. So this is what we're looking for. The best absorber of heat is black matte, or in another word, this is dull. So the answer is A. Next, question 12. When pollen grains in water are viewed through a microscope, they are seen to be in continuous, rapid, random motion. What causes a pollen grain to move in this way? This is your collision theory. The reason this happens is due to uneven bombardment of different sites by water molecules. So you've got water molecules that will bounce off each other, causing continuous rapid motion. So the answer is C. Next, question 13. A circular flat-bottomed dish contains 100 centimeter cubes of water. Students are asked how to increase the rate at which the water evaporates. The rate of evaporation is affected by a few factors. One is the surface area, next is the temperature, and also if there is any external factors like wind. So, student 1 pours the water into a flat-bottomed dish with a larger diameter. This means that we are increasing the surface area, which can help in increasing the rate of evaporation. And student 2 cool the dish and water. This is reducing the temperature, so it's not going to help with increasing the rate of evaporation. Next, to create a current of air over the dish with a fan. So we are creating external factor over here. The answer is going to be C. Next, question 14. Matter consists of very small particles in a continual state of motion. Which row describes the behavior of particles in a liquid? The forces between particles in a liquid are strong. They do not move randomly, but they do change position based on the container that is poured in. So the answer is B. Next, question 15. The diagram shows the equipment used in an experiment on the heating of aluminium. Okay, and the table gives the results for the experiment. The specific heat capacity of aluminium is 900 joules per kilogram degree Celsius. What is the maximum possible temperature rise in the block? I've mentioned this in most of my videos. Whenever you see the term specific heat capacity, immediately write your formula, which is E equals to mc theta. This is the one and only formula which is related to specific heat capacity. We're asking you to calculate the maximum possible temperature rise. That means we are looking for theta. The mass of the block is given, which is 0.8 kilograms. The unit is correct. The specific heat capacity, which is the value of C, is also given, which is 900 joules per kilogram degree Celsius, and you're looking to find theta. However, the energy is not given, but we can still calculate the energy by using another formula, which is voltage multiply current multiply the time. This is another formula that you will come across in chapter 4. So as you can see, memorizing formula is very helpful because it can help you identify how to calculate another missing quantity. So that would be 12 times 5 times 300. So the answer for the energy is 18,000 and the unit is joule. So now we can just rearrange this. Theta equals to energy divided by mass and specific heat capacity, giving us 25 degrees Celsius change of temperature. So the answer is C. Next, question 16. Question 16 onwards is from chapter 3, waves. Which dimensions describe the properties of the wave? So amplitude is from your axis to the peak of the wave, so that would be R. And wavelength is one complete cycle, so from here to here. The answer is C. Next, question 17. Which row describes some characteristics of an image formed in a plane mirror? Alright, so the image formed on a plane mirror is a virtual image, and the size of the image will remain the same. When you see yourself on the mirror, everything remains the same. So the answer is D. Remember that virtual image means the images are formed behind a lens and it cannot be projected on a screen. Whereas a real image are the kind of images that can be projected on the screen. For example, from a projector onto a wall. Next, question 18. The range of audible frequencies for elephants is 10 Hz to 12,000 Hz, and for horses is 55 Hz, 33,000 Hz. Which statement about the range of audible frequencies for a healthy human ear is correct? For a healthy human, we can hear a frequency of 20 Hz up to 20,000 Hz. So out of all the statements, the statement correct is D, because the human ear cannot hear all the sounds heard by the elephants nor those by the horses, because there are range from 10 Hz that an elephant can hear but a human can't, and then above 20,000, which is 33,000, is what a horse can hear but a human can't. Next, question 19. An object is placed in front of a plane mirror. The ray diagram shows the reflection of one ray of light from the object by the mirror. Where does the mirror form an image of the object? So we have looked into one example previously. If the object is here, then the image is formed parallel behind the lens. So the answer here should be A. Next, question 20. Light refracts as it enters glass from air as shown, which expression is equal to the refractive index of the glass. The formula for refractive index is sin I over sin R. Sin I is the angle of incidence and R is the angle of reflection. So to calculate I, we're going to have to take 90 degree, which is the right angle, minus theta 1. So sin 90 minus theta 1 over sin refracted angle, which is theta 2. So the right formula here would be C. Remember that angle of incidence and refracted is always the one which is next to the normal. Next, question 21. Light traveling at a speed of 3 times 10 to the power of 8 strikes the surface of a glass block and undergoes refraction as it enters the block. The diagram shows the ray of light before and after it enters the block. What is the speed of light in the glass? The formula related to speed of light in an object is refractive index equal to speed of light in air over speed of light in object. So we are looking for the speed of light in the glass over here. We have been given with the value of C, which is 3 times 10 to the power of 8 meters per second. However, we do not know what is the value of n. And we can calculate the value of n using the same formula previously, which is sin I over sin R. So sin 55 over sin 33, which is 1.5. So 1.5 equal to 3 times 10 to the power of 8 over the speed of light in glass. Rearranging this formula, we will get the value of speed, which is 2 times 10 to the power of 8. Next, question 22. Which row about converging lens and diverging lens is correct? Converging lens is a convex lens which looks like this, and diverging lens is a concave lens that looks like this. A converging lens can be used as magnifying glass and it can produce both real and virtual images, whereas a diverging lens can be used to correct short-sightedness, which is correct. Converging lens is used to correct long-sightedness. So the answer is D. This question is just based on facts, so if you have revised and remembered the theory, then it will be an easy question to answer. Next, question 23 onwards is from chapter 4. A charged rod X is placed on a balance and another rod Y is brought close to it. Which combination of charges would cause the change in the balance reading shown? So the mass initially was 45.3 and then it increased to 45.7 grams. Which combination of charges would cause the change in the balance reading shown? So for the mass to increase, this means that there must be some external force that is being added to the beam balance. So this means that the charges for X and Y must be alike, hence they repelled each other. The repulsion is the force over here. So we don't have positive and positive for X and Y. However, we have negative and negative charges. As long as the charges are alike, they will repel each other. That's why you can see a mass has increased. Next, question 24. What is the unit of potential difference? Ampere is for current, coulomb is for charge. This is coulomb per time. So the answer here is D, volt. Question 25. The diagram shows a transformer. What is the output voltage? So you have been given with the number of turns and the primary voltage. So we can answer this easily by using the formula. Primary voltage over secondary voltage equals to number of turns in primary coil over number of turns in secondary. So the primary voltage is 22,000 divided by output voltage that we are looking for, and primary 550 divided by 115. Rearranging this formula, you will get 4,600 voltage. The number of turns is reducing over here. This means that this is a step-down transformer. So the voltage will also be reduced. Next, question 26. The diagram shows two arrangements of a pair of identical bar magnets. 3 points P, Q, and R are shown. At which point is the magnetic field due to the magnets weakest and at which point is it the strongest? These two are poles alike, so they will repel each other. This is what the magnetic field line would look like. These are north to south, so the magnetic field would move like this. So the strongest magnetic field would be the closest to the magnetic pole, which is at R. And the weakest would be at P because there is no magnetic field at this region. So the answer here is B. Next, question 27. A nichrome wire P has a length of 1 meter and a diameter of 1 millimeter. A second nichrome wire Q has a length of 2 meters and a diameter of 2 millimeters. Which statement correctly compares the resistance of Q with that of P? Now, resistance is directly proportional to its length but inversely proportional to its area. If the length has increased by 2, that means the resistance has also increased by 2. So right now it will be 2R. However, the area has also increased by twice. As the cross-sectional area increases, the resistance will decrease. If it increases by 2, then it will decrease by 4. So we're going to divide this by 4, giving us the resistance 1 over 2R. So the resistance of Q right now is half of the resistance of P initially. So the answer is B. Next, question 28. A student has two resistors. One resistor has a resistance of 2 ohm and the other has a resistance of 40 kilo ohm. Which statement is correct? If they are connected in parallel, then the formula is 1 over 2 ohms add with 1 over, this is kilo ohms, so it's going to be 40,000 ohm, giving us a value of R total 1.999 and so on, which is approximately 2 ohms. So when connected in parallel, the combined resistance is 2 ohms. The answer is B. Next, question 29. In which circuit do both lamps light? There is a diode placed here, so the current flows from positive terminal here. Since there is a diode placed in the opposite direction, current cannot continuously flow. The current moves like this, and then when it comes back, again there's a diode placed oppositely. This is wrong. The current can flow. The diode is placed in the right direction, and like this. So the answer is C. For D, the current can flow through the first lamp. However, for the second lamp, the diode is oppositely placed, so there will be no current for the second lamp. Remember that diode has to be placed the same direction as the flow of current. Next, question 30 onwards is from chapter 5. An isotope of strontium has the nuclide notation of this. How many protons and neutrons are there in the nucleus of this isotope? So the number at the bottom here is the proton number. As for neutron, you're going to take the nucleon number minus the proton number, which will give you 46. So the answer is A. Next, question 31. A student is investigating the count rate of a radioactive substance. How must he adjust his reading for the background count? To investigate the count rate, you must always subtract the background count from your initial reading. And then later on at the end, you can add again your background rate. So the answer is C. Next, question 32. What occurs during nuclear fusion? You will learn about nuclear fission and nuclear fusion in the syllabus. Nuclear fission is when you have an unstable isotope which splits to become daughter nuclei. Whereas nuclear fusion is when two hydrogen atoms combine to form a helium atom. So the answer is either A or B. In this process, you will be emitting energy. So the answer is A. For nuclear fusion to happen, you need an extremely high temperature that can only be achieved in the sun. Next, question 33. A beta particle enters a uniform magnetic field directed into the page and deflects downwards. Which direction of electric field would also deflect an electron downwards? So beta particle is also an electron particle which is negatively charged. For it to move downwards, this means that we need to have a positive plate over here because opposite charges attract. If there is a positive plate over here, it will be a negative plate over here. That's why it repelled and moved downwards. Electric field always moves from positive plate towards negative plate, or positive particle to negative particle. So the electric field in this case would be positive to negative like this, which is moving upwards. Therefore, the answer is D. Next, question 34. The radioactive isotope radon is an alpha emitter. During the radioactive decay, an isotope polonium is produced. How many neutrons does a nucleus of this isotope of polonium contain? So let's write down the nuclide notation first. It is going to emit an alpha particle. Alpha particle has nuclide notation of 4 and 2. Something that you must memorize, and would also form polonium. Now, the total number must be equal before and after the decay. If there is 222 here, then these both added up must give you 222. That means the nucleon number over here is 218. If there is 86 here, then these both number must add up to also form 86. If there's already 2 here, then there should be 84 protons. So, how many neutrons is what they're asking. Neutron number is nucleon number, take away the proton number. So, the answer is 134, which is C. Next, question 35. Which statement gives 2 safety precautions to take when a person is working with ionizing radiation? Ionizing radiation is very harmful. That means that you have to decrease the time that you are close to the radiation and you have to stay far away from the radiation. Therefore, the answer is B. Next, question 36 onwards is from chapter 6, Space Physics. Which list correctly shows the planets in decreasing order of distance from the sun, meaning that they want from the furthest of the sun to the closest. So here's a way for you to remember the order, starting the furthest with Neptune, followed by Uranus, and then Saturn and Jupiter closest. So the answer is C. Next, question 37. The sun radiates most of its energy in 3 regions of the electromagnetic spectrum. In the pie chart, region 1 is infrared radiation, region 2 is visible radiation, and the other region is your UV ray. So the answer here is C. This question is pretty direct and simple. Make sure you remember all the 3 regions. Next, question 38. The diagram shows a comet moving in an elliptical orbit around the Sun. At which position is the comet moving with the greatest speed, meaning the highest kinetic energy? The highest kinetic energy would be closest to the Sun, as it has the lowest gravitational potential energy. As the comet moves away from the Sun, it gains the highest gravitational potential energy, but the lowest kinetic energy. So over here, it would be the slowest. Next, question 39. Nuclear reactions in the Sun release large quantities of energy. Which statement about this process is correct? Nuclear reaction in the Sun involves nuclear fusion, whereby the hydrogen atoms will combine to form helium. This is how the Sun gets its fuel to continuously burn. So the answer is D. And the last question. Table gives data about 4 planets in our solar system, and these are the mean surface temperature that has been given. You are asked to find the planets of X and Y. As you can see, the temperature of the Earth is the highest, which is at 15 degrees Celsius, followed by negative 65, planet X. And then the next high temperature would be negative 140, and the coldest, which is negative 195, is Uranus. So we're looking to find the planets which are in between Earth and Uranus. So you've got Mercury, Venus, and then Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. So the options would be Mars, Jupiter, or Saturn. Mars, Jupiter, or Saturn, because Neptune is placed over here and Mercury is placed before Earth. That means the temperatures would be higher and after Uranus would be lower. So the answer is A. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. For the next video, I'll be solving the chemistry paper 2. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Bye.